Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe, if you dare. The vast overuse of antibiotics has led to superbugs that are antibiotic resistant. Hey everybody, welcome to ANECDOSED. People ask Reddit. Scientists of Reddit. What are some scary scientific discoveries that most of the public is unaware of? Number 1. The world has 70% less insects on average than it did 40 years ago. We really are coming up on our silent spring. For the people saying there are less pests, those aren't the ones we're worried about. Insect pollinators are vital to so many crops, we could be facing serious problems with certain food supplies soon. In recent years, China has had issues with apple and pear crops to the point where some regions have had to pollinate crops by hand. Also, insects form lower blocks of many food webs, and their disappearance will spell trouble for higher trophic levels. Number 2. Abdominal aortic aneurysm. It's basically an aneurysm that happens in the big artery in the middle of the abdomen. It's fine and is usually asymptomatic, but when it ruptures, a patient loses all their blood within a short period of time. The scary part is that it usually is diagnosed by accident due to annual checkups for something else. Anyone can have the disease, but especially people with Marfan syndrome, smoking, hypertensive, and hyperlipidemic. Number 3. Vast overuse of antibiotics has led to superbugs that are antibiotic resistant. At the same time, the diversity of microbes within the human has dramatically decreased in first world countries. This leads to a correlated rise in allergies and gastrointestinal diseases. As we use more antibiotics and antibacterial/viral products, then biodiversity of microbes decrease, and superbugs have a much easier pathway of invading the body. With a very biodiverse microbiome, your resident microbes will try to fight off these infections much easier. We need to focus on helping bacteria, not killing all of it. Number 4. Which actually makes them a good wart remover. Heard the tip from a friend's mom when I was in my preteens. Just cut a slice of fresh pineapple, use a band-aid to keep it in place over top of the wart overnight, while you're sleeping, repeat every night for about 2 weeks, and the wart should be gone. I tried it when I was younger and it worked. Using regular wart remover might be a bit easier, with a one-time application, but pineapple is cheaper, and it takes about the same amount of time to notice a disappearance in the wart. Number 5. The star Betelgeuse in Orion may be about to go supernova. We've known it's going to go supernova soon. That's astronomy as soon as it could be tomorrow or in 200 years. Betelgeuse is a variable star, so it gets brighter or dimmer all the time, but it just got dimmer than we've ever seen it before. No one's 100% sure what's going on. If Betelgeuse does go supernova, all of our satellites and stuff will be fine, the solar wind will protect us. The main problem is we'll have no night for a while, maybe weeks. So it'll really throw animals off. Number 6. The Higgs Boson, which was hypothesized decades ago, was discovered via the Large Hadron Collider. Its real-life discovery proved that it's what gives mass to everything. But there is a non-zero chance that a Higgs boson can drop to a lower energy state. And because of the law of entropy, it's the preferred state to decay to a lower energy state if possible. The influence of a low energy state boson would kick off a chain reaction causing other Higgs bosons to drop to a lower energy state. The problem with this is that if a Higgs boson drops to a lower energy state, then it can't give mass to things anymore. Which has universal implications when mass doesn't have mass anymore. It's theorized that the infinitesimal small probability of this occurring could lead to a circumstance where the universe as we know it disappears. Essentially, it would occur like an absolute void progressing through the universe, low energy state Higgs bosons infecting any other Higgs boson they come across. Maybe the closest thing to a Thanos snap, but it causes everything to disappear in the universe, but only at the speed of light rather than instantaneously. Number 7. There are ancient microbes lying dormant in glaciers. As climate change progresses and these glaciers melt, it is possible that we will be exposed to ancient diseases for which we will have no immunity. Number 8. The fact that you can edit genes from the comfort of your home. The protocols are out there, the literature is too, the materials are easy to obtain. Asia has a lot of unregulated production of anything biochemistry related. It's where I get my phytohormones. This means that a kid with some free time, roughly $5,000 to $10,000 and a heap of motivation could potentially create something world-threatening. It might not work on the first 100 tries, and you can try 100 times within a week, but once it does, there's no stopping it. I know for a fact that not a single country in the world has developed a working protocol for a shutdown or containment. Roughly a year ago I informed someone working in the anti-terror division about this. I told that I modified brewer's yeast by cold shocking it in a suspension with wild-type yeast DNA to make some new craft beers, and that anyone could do that. Not just to yeast, but to a whole lot of microorganisms. I was asked to come and give a lecture about this, so that the AT team would have a clue about how biochemical warfare could potentially be prevented/contained. But I never heard from them again. What's scary is that this is not a discovery. This is out there. This is happening on a large scale to do good, and people justify it because of that. It's being used to clean up oil spills, to produce medicines like insulin, even to capture CO2 from the air and convert it to bioavailable molecules, putting vitamin A in rice. But it takes just one rotten apple to spoil the world. Bill Gates has spoken out about this, and I think more people in the world should. We can't stop this from happening, but we can have the right protocols in place to contain it. As soon as I think about what's needed to contain something like that, and to stop people from fleeing contained sites. Well, you've seen the movies. The thing is, where do people go once they're infected? Right, the hospital. Where there's a bunch of people with already weakened immune systems. Where do most antibiotic-resistant bacteria get their resistance? Right, in hospitals, through horizontal gene transfers. A hospital-sized petri dish. Number 9. Immune system is very amazing at what it does, but it is also super dangerous. B cells and T cells have the potential of being very self-reactive. They can slip past cells that are supposed to kill self-reactive immune cells, and they can cause autoimmunity. To help combat autoimmunity in super important parts of the body, eyes, genitalia, brain, etc., then these areas become immune privileged. Basically, immune cells can't go in those areas at all. One of the most terrifying things is infections using those immune privileged sites to their advantage. In Ebola survivors, the virus can hide in those sites and reinfect the patient later on. In one case, Ebola was in the eye of a survivor and caused his eye to change color. In other cases, Ebola was transferred as an STD because it was hiding in the genitalia of a survivor who transferred to their sexual partner. Number 10. The climate change thing is simultaneously overstated and understated. Life on Earth will not end in 10 years, no credible scientist ever claimed this, but we are in the midst of a serious loss in biodiversity and biomass, and those are not things that can be restored quickly or easily. Climate changes, but it is not supposed to change this much this quickly, and it's such a complicated system. Humanity's relationship with global ecology is fundamentally unsustainable and will undergo radical alterations in the next century whether we intend it to or not. That's the threat we face, no more and no less. Number 11. Naegleria fowleri is an amoeba that usually lives in the sediments of lakes and eats bacteria. However, when a swimmer happens to inhale some water through their nose that contains amoebae, the amoebae can enter the brain. This can cause a fatal brain disease, where you progressively lose balance, your sense of smell changes, you start to hallucinate, and you begin to have seizures. You can also contract this disease from using non-sterile tap water for neti pots. Number 12. Vacuum decay. Do you know how batteries die? How a cold beverage will heat over time, or how everything you put into motion will eventually stop? That's because of entropy. Matter doesn't like to have a lot of energy, it always wants to reach the lowest possible state of energy. You know, the bottom of the graph. The universe is doing that right now, everywhere. There's this hypothesis that our current lowest possible state might not be real, just sitting close to a bump that'll end in an even lower state. And particles could be just some quantum tunneling away from reaching it. But why is this important? Because if that ever happens, it'd create a cascade effect moving through space that would destroy everything it touches, potentially replacing it with new laws of physics, because the constants would change. And we wouldn't know until it's too late. Number 13. The night sky is just an illusion. When you look up at a star, that star might be 80 million light years away, meaning the light from that star took 80 million years to reach Earth, which means you're looking at a star that is from 80 million years ago and isn't actually there today, which means the night sky is a night sky from millions of years ago. What would the sky look like today? There is a theory that if we can invent something to go faster than the speed of light millions of light years away in a few days, weeks or months, you'd be able to look back at Earth and see dinosaurs walking the planet. Time travel is real. We just don't have the advanced technology to do it. Number 14. Supernovae and gamma-ray bursts. Any supernova closer than 1,000 light years could damage Earth's atmosphere. Gamma-ray bursts are even faster and more dangerous. It's estimated that there are more than 3 million stars within 1,000 light years of the solar system. Number 15. Human impact on the climate. It's already past the point of no return. We probably won't get extinct, from this, at least, But the next decades will be harsh for all of our planet's biomes. Biologists are calling it the sixth mass extinction or Anthropocene extinction, because we're the ones causing it, as the current rate of species vanishing is already 100 to 1,000 times the normal. This number is only set to increase as the climate becomes more extreme. Number 16. Space is really, really big. It's hard to find stuff. Stellar black holes are really small and can't be detected if they're not interacting with anything. Some models suggest that there could be tens of thousands of black holes hiding in our galaxy. Number 17. Blue ice, it's the name given to the frozen sewage material that has leaked mid-flight from commercial aircraft laboratory waste systems. If it falls, it can damage roofs or even you. So yeah, you can be walking on the street one moment and in the next die, impaled by frozen pee. Number 18. Aortic ruptures. The main artery from your heart runs down through your body, supplying blood to both your femoral arteries. Well, in certain circumstances, it's entirely possible to just shear the aorta in two. Think cutting a hose completely through with scissors as water is running through it. I've seen this happen once, in a road traffic collision. A guy driving hit a tree, coming to a complete instant stop, dissecting his aorta and bleeding out. Estimates from last time I looked for survival are 1 to 2 minutes at best. If this happens, you are dead. And to put this into perspective, you build up enough energy for this to happen when you are near or surpass 30 miles per hour when driving. Vehicles are crazy dangerous, be careful out there, people. Number 19. Artificial General Intelligence, AGI. In other words, a digital computer that is superhuman in all cognitive tasks. Humans are imbued by evolution with a sort of general learning algorithm. But it's running in a very slow, biological computer, with low input/output speed, talking, tapping thumbs, reading, etc. Once we can implant that algorithm in silicon, a computer chip, there's a good chance it'll be superhuman in a matter of days or less. Sort of on the level of intelligence gap you might feel between you and a mosquito. At that point, it doesn't even have to be malicious to destroy all of humanity. As Max Tegmark has put it, the real risk with artificial general intelligence isn't malice but competence. A superintelligent AI will be extremely good at accomplishing its goals, and if those goals aren't aligned with ours, we're in trouble. The implications of this would be all-encompassing. It would change the whole game. And many top experts believe it could happen within the next 10 years. Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.